When you think about possibly running for governor of New York, which you've talked about, you've been critical of the incumbent governor, Kathy Hochul, who's a fellow Democrat. What would your aspirations be if you were governor, not as a candidate, but as governor? What are things you think need to be done to govern New York State?
We have swung the pendulum too far to the left on public safety. New York has the most dysfunctional criminal justice system in the country. Since 2019, we've seen just a cycle of recidivism, a 150% rise in the number of repeat offenders for felony assaults, more than 80% for robberies, more than 60% for burglaries, more than 100% for grand larceny auto. And there was one case, Jamar Banks, who stabbed two people on New Year's Day. And it turns out that Mr. Banks had 52 priors, including an attempted murder, multiple shootings, multiple acts of domestic violence, theft. And despite his extensive criminal history, he was released back onto the streets where he committed more violence against more innocent New Yorkers. And here's the problem. New York is the only state in the country that prohibits judges from considering the public safety risk of repeat and violent offenders. And if you were to put that issue, the issue of whether judges should have the discretion to consider public safety risk on the ballot, it would be an 80-20 issue. 80% of New Yorkers, Black and white, Latino and Asian, would vote for it because it's a matter of common sense. And the trouble with our politics is that common sense has become dangerously uncommon in places like Albany. I have two overarching critiques of my own party. I think one problem is that we as a party at times have become more responsive to the groups than to everyday people on the ground. And the problem with the progressive movement, as I see it, is that it's more concerned with progressive purity than with actual progress, than with the actual competence and performance of government. And so I feel like we have to be more responsive to the people and more concerned with the real world functioning of government at every level of government.